a locking nut on top. Being careful not to lose the spacers. Insert another tool, which again is just a plastic PVC, into the access hole near the top so that you will not damage the lead screw when extracting it through the top. Then the manual tells you to bend the lead screw towards the back of the unit so that it will go through the clearance hole. Hold the motor assembly so it does not turn, since this lead screw does not rotate, but the motor assembly rotates around the lead screw. You hold it so it doesn't rotate and unscrew the lead screw out of the motor and nut assembly. You continue turning until the lead screw is completely free of the motor and nut assembly, and then remove it through the top. Before you get the whole lead screw out, again, this shows the importance of following the manual step by step. There's a little locating collar underneath the lead screw which will prevent the lead screw from going through the nut. That must be removed to remove the lead screw out through the top. A simple Phillips head screwdriver will remove it. When you remove this locating collar at the bottom of the lead screw, note the orientation that it comes off. Now we are free to rotate the lead screw completely free and pull it through the top of the unit. Again, the plastic is protecting the lead screw at the top. You will notice you need at least an 8-foot tall ceiling to remove this lead screw. The next step is to remove the cable access plate, swing the cue card out of the way so that you can disconnect the cables at the connections on the electronics chassis. And the manual tells you to loosen the support brackets holding the chassis assembly at the top. I would recommend you remove them completely since they will just get in your way. After the access panel, the cables have been removed from the circuit cards and the L support brackets. The same tool that was used on top to protect the lead screw is now added to the first support tool to raise the elevator assembly high enough to clear the chassis assembly. After the 4 screws are removed, lift the unit slightly forward to clear that holding bracket in the back. Clear the lip from the guide post. Then rotate the unit. Once the unit is free of all obstacles, it then will just slide completely out of the unit, and you have now the chassis assembly that is identical to the L490E with the bottom access plate. The one major difference being, once we remove the access plate on the bottom, there will not be a pulley arrangement since the lead screw on this unit does not rotate but remains stationary, and the lead screw nut rotates around the lead screw. As you can see, the head plate assembly is identical to the L490E. When replacing the lead screw, make sure that the collar that you took off when you remove the lead screw is replaced properly by having the recess on the collar go towards and fit over the end of the lead screw shaft. And then the screw fits on the flat end. We have replaced the deck and chassis assembly back into the unit, leaving the 4 mounting screws loose. We have reinstalled the lead screw, and it also is loose so as not to bind the deck plate. We have put the alignment plate in place of the bottom sensor. on the elevator shuttle assembly, and we have the alignment tool collar over the supply motor hub. We will now gently lower the elevator assembly so that as it goes down, it will align the deck plate assembly because the screws are loose, and it will align itself to where it should be. As explained in the manual, you do that by rotating the motor tack wheel. That should now align the deck plate for any alignment that is necessary. We can now proceed to tighten down the deck plate, finish the lead screw replacement adjustment, and replace the alignment plate with the bottom sensor. Do not remove the chassis assembly and the elevator assembly at the same time, since one is aligned to the other. It is not impossible to remove them both, but it is just that much more difficult to align them. Only remove one at a time, since they rely on each other for the alignment. Once you've replaced everything and gotten everything tightened and checked, of course, it's a good idea to make sure that the unit will still retrieve and load and unload cartridges. I would remind you again that to replace or remove any of the components, follow explicitly the instructions and the diagrams in the manual. They are accurate and they are good. There are a few minor discrepancies where it tells you to put in a long screw or a short screw, and those have been corrected with correction sheets that you get in the class handout package that you should receive with your technical manual. This concludes the Library Tape Express series for the L490, L490E, and the L60E. Again, remember on the L60E, if you remove the deck plate or the shuttle elevator assembly, make sure that you use and follow the proper procedures so that the alignment is correct and the tapes will be loaded. The alignment is very critical in that the shuttle brings the tape down and the deck assembly receives it. If the teeth do not match, the tape will not load. If you have any questions or need any help, of course, call technical support in Poway. If we do not have the answers, we can directly link you to the technical support team at Overland Data, who are very familiar with each and every aspect of all their equipment.